Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it's Paydirt review time again. And this time we're going to be reviewing a fairly new seller in RJ's Paydirt. Now he has been selling for a while on Etsy, but those were predominantly chase bags, and I try not to review chase bags. And if you don't know what a chase bag is, it is when a seller makes a predetermined number of bags of Paydirt, say 25, and in 24 of those bags, they put really low amounts of gold and you get a really low ROI. But that 25th bag has a lot of gold with a really high ROI. So you might get 24 customers getting a 20% ROI, while that 25th person gets a 3, 4, maybe even a 500% ROI. And to me, I just don't like those bags of Paydirt. I don't know why any seller would want to upset 24 customers and make them not want to return, while making one 25th customer really happy. And since they won, they will probably never ever buy another chase bag from that seller again because they've used up all their luck. So I try not to review those bags of Paydirt, but I saw late last year that they did open up their own website and start selling bags of Paydirt with guaranteed set amounts of gold. And that's what we're going to be reviewing today. They're 4-pound, 1-gram bag. So I'm pretty excited to go through this because it is a new seller. I've never reviewed them before. And let's just go to the overhead, check out this Paydirt, and see what's inside the bag. As you saw, a really basic description. It only tells you that it is a 4-pound bag of Paydirt with a guaranteed 1 gram of gold, including at least one picker, and that it might have some extras thrown in like garnets or Herkimer diamonds, but it really doesn't tell you more than that. It does say that it is gold-bearing material, but not from where, and there's a big difference on where the material is from. Now let's just weigh it up and see if it is the 4 pounds that it states. And there we go, 4 pounds, 6 ounces, and we'll open it up. Check out this dirt. Look at it a little bit closer. It is dry, which is always good. And there's a lot of material here. I will rinse out the bag before the end of the video just to see if there's any gold in there. Dump out about half of that. I see some copper in there, so it does have a lot of extras in there. Some polished stones, some crystals. So it does have a lot of extras, more than I thought it would. I thought it might just have one thing in it, but it's got some more in there. Let's check it for magnetite. Seems to have a good little bit, so it might actually be a challenging bag of Paydirt. We'll have to see what size the gold comes in. But first, let me go classify this material down, and then we'll be right back. Okay, all done classifying, and that was some extremely dusty material. So I'll be really curious to see what it does to the water in a little bit. Now, as you can see, pretty equal amounts in all 4 classifications, and I really like that. And I'll be really curious to see where I find the gold at, because there is about a pound of material in each classification. So I'm really hoping to find gold in all the lower classifications. The plus 10, I will be okay if I don't find any gold. It did have a lot of extras that I already picked out. It did have some copper, bismuth, or grown crystals. It did have some peacock ore, silver, things like that. So I did pick the majority of that out early, but if I come across any later on while I'm panning, I'll pull that aside as well. Now, the reason I classify my material down before I pan it is because it makes it much easier to pan. Panning out minus 40 gold from plus 10 material is a little bit more difficult than just panning it out of minus 40 difficulty. And also because at the end of this video, when I show you the gold I recovered, you can see how difficult this bag of Paydirt will be for you, because you'll be able to see what size the gold comes in. If you're a new panner and all the gold is minus 40 and below, it probably will be a really difficult bag for you to pan out. But if you see the gold is all on the chunkier side, plus 20 and up, and you're an advanced panner, it might be too easy for you. So let's go get some water, pan out each one of these classifications, and see exactly how much and where the gold is. Well, finished panning everything out as you saw, and that was some fairly difficult Paydirt to go through, but we'll talk about that in a minute. For right now, let's show you the gold I found. And I found gold in 3 of the 4 classifications. I didn't find anything in the plus 10, but I am okay with that because as I stated earlier in the video, I really didn't expect to find anything in the plus 10. But I was hoping to find gold in the other 3 classifications, and I did. So let's start weighing it up. Minus 10 plus 20. .3 grams minus 20 plus 40. And again, I am guaranteed 1 gram in this bag. There you go, 0.650. So almost hit that gram, which means this minus 40 will definitely budge the scale if I'm going to find my gram. And there you go, 0.220, and we'll just add it all together, see how much over that gram we got. .175 grams. And as I showed you earlier in the video, I also did recover some silver, copper, and some various gems as well. Now for this bag from RJ's Paydirt, it was fairly difficult to go through. It was 4 pounds of material, which means there's a lot more chances you'll make a mistake and miss some gold. It clouded up the water, had a lot of black sands, and it did have a good bit of fine gold. So for a beginner painter, I would give this a hard. For an advanced painter, it's hard as well. And for an expert painter, I would give this a medium. All right, finished calculating my ROI, writing up my review, and let's get right to it. Now again, I panned out a 4-pound bag from rjspaydirt.com that was guaranteed 1 gram of gold. Its cost was $80, shipping was $5, so grand total $85. Now as you saw earlier in this video, I recovered 1.175 grams of gold, and gold spot on the day that this was ordered was $59.99, making the gold I found worth $70.49, giving me an ROI of 82.93%, or on my scale, an 8.3. So really good ROI. When I first had my secret shopper buy this bag, it was only guaranteed a 70% ROI based off of that day's gold spot and the amount of gold that was guaranteed. So finding that extra 0.175 really got the ROI much higher, and I don't think anyone would complain about getting an 83% ROI. Now for fun factor, I'm actually going to drop this down to a 7.3, and I know people are going to be wondering why, because it was really good Paydirt that had gold in 3 of the classifications, but unfortunately it was missing that picker that was guaranteed in the description. And I probably would have overlooked that, but another thing was I really didn't like the silver. The silver is just not my thing when you're panning out Paydirt and you're trying to get an ROI. So I'm dropping the fun factor down to a 7.3. For Paydirt description, it was going to be a 4, but again, I am going to drop this down to a 2 because there was no picker as stated in the description, and the description really should have said that there was going to be silver. And the reason I keep harping on the silver is because when you use crystalline silver, it breaks up in the bag and you end up getting minus 20, minus 40 little bitty pieces of silver. And when you're trying to weigh up the gold to see what your ROI is, you can't have any silver in it. So you have to spend an enormous amount of time picking out those little tiny pieces of silver to make sure the only thing you have is gold. And if you're made aware of this beforehand, you know either pick out the silver and you're going to be prepared for it, or you won't buy the bag because you don't want to pick out silver. So for Paydirt description, they're getting a 2. Quantity and packaging, they're getting a 9.5. It was over the 4 pounds stated, and it came double bagged in bubble mailers, so really good packaging and a 9.5. And lastly, for customer service and shipping, they're getting a 10. 10 for customer service because it was excellent and the shipping was incredibly fast. This was ordered on a Friday and it arrived to my secret shopper on a Tuesday, giving RJ's Paydirt 4-pound bag a total score of 7.4. which isn't really a great score. It's not a horrible score. It's kind of in between on what I'd like to find. It definitely needs some work. If they just upgraded their description and got it to an 8 or a 10, this would be some really good Paydirt. And it would also bump up the fun factor because you would know what you were buying. And lastly, would I order this bag of Paydirt again? And honestly, probably not. I really enjoyed the gold. It's got a good ROI, the customer service and all that, but I am not a fan of the gems and things. You might enjoy them, but personally, I don't find them very fun to pan out. I don't like to pick then pan, but if you like to pick and pan, this probably wouldn't be a bad bag of Paydirt for you to buy. So if you enjoy those things, then I would recommend that you try it out. Me personally, I probably wouldn't buy it again, but that's just me. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Happy panning. And if you're not already a subscriber, think about hitting the subscribe button below.